Everyone, it's Maria, and I wanted to say welcome to my channel after about a year of taking a sabbatical. So welcome. For those of you who sent messages, checked in, encouraged me, asked me where the heck I was, thank you. I heard you. I missed you too. It's just been a long year, and we needed to have some space at our house. I had no mental margin left, so I needed to reclaim a little bit of that. So welcome back after the long haul. Thanks for sticking with me. For those of you who are new to my channel and recently found me, welcome. I would love to know in the comments how you found me. That's always exciting and interesting to me. And then lastly, if any of you have specific things that you want to hear me talk more about, or you have questions, comments, want to know more about specific books or past content, please put that in the comments below so I can prioritize that when I'm trying to figure out what to film on. So that's kind of my brief intro. I thought I would just reintroduce you to myself if you don't already know. I am Maria. I am a homeschooling mom of 3 kids, almost 11-year-old, almost 9-year-old, and a 4.5-year-old, which keeps it pretty active at our house. We have a lot of swimming and board games and questions that I never know all the answers to, which is totally fine. That's normal part of parenting. We're figuring it out. Art projects, cut up cardboard in my garage all the time. I mean, just, you know, the regular. So that is a little bit about my family. As far as what I like to read, I do a mix of nonfiction and fiction. I have a lot of interests, whether it's historical fiction or racial justice issues, self-improvement, science even. I like a lot of different things. That's one of the reasons I homeschool, because I enjoy being a nerd and getting to learn along with my children. So that's been kind of fun. I always say you can kind of tell what kind of person they are just by the books on their shelf or what they're reading. We actually recently went out to California for a family wedding and had a problem with one of the beds, and my husband was very nervous that the host was going to try and make us pay for some of the stuff that went wrong, which wasn't our fault. And I told him not to worry about it because I'd already seen the books on her shelf and she was going to be fine. And she was. That's just how you know who people are, from what they're reading. So that's my theory on life. Anyways, that's what I'm interested in. A lot of times I will do videos on what I'm reading or how we're homeschooling, what games we're liking. Sometimes I'll talk about things that are bothering me or ways to try and cut back on our consumption, trying to live more intentionally. Those are things that I'm passionate about. So that's kind of me in a nutshell. Since I've been gone, these are, let me catch you up a little bit, the last year. The big 2 reasons that I needed to take a break was, number 1, we decided to move, which it was only across town, but it was still a lot of work because we were homeschooling at the same time. We also were trying to, it's our first house. We'd been there for 13 years. Had a lot to go through. Even though we normally purge and get rid of stuff, it was still just a lot to try and make decisions on while, you know, making everything perfect enough to sell, and then also looking for a new spot and getting all that sorted while homeschooling. It was just a lot. And I had no mental margin space for anything other than getting that done. That was my number 1 priority last year, is just fixing it and getting it done. My librarians were even like checking in on me. They're like, "Are you okay? We haven't seen you in a while." I said, "No, it's me. It's not you. I haven't had time to hardly read." So that's the big thing that I needed to take a break for. The second big thing that I took a break for was we had a medical diagnosis that was kind of a heavy one happen in our family, and I'm not at liberty to share because it's not my medical diagnosis, but it rocked our world a lot. I don't know if I'll ever have a chance to really talk about it on the channel or not due to privacy, but it was just a lot to take in, to handle emotionally. It was a lot. I already said that it was a lot. It kind of just made us really think about what we had time for in our life, what we had money for in our life, what we had emotional energy for. And I needed to cut anything that was not absolutely essential from life to kind of regroup and prioritize and figure out how to move forward. So things are fine. Nobody is Nobody is in a dire situation, but it did mean that I kind of had to renegotiate my brain a little bit. So those are the big two things. The other things that happened were a little bit more fun. We had our boys do swim team with the local swim team, which was really, really fun to watch them kind of improve. It's amazing when you see like this kid who grew in your belly, then be able to outswim you. I don't know how that happens, but it does. And that was really exciting, but it also meant there were practices every single day, which was a lot. I don't know. It was more than I wanted to do with other stuff on top of it. I also found, I went to a couple different conferences that kind of changed how I wanted to look at my own spirituality. I found some womanist spiritual interpretations, commentaries, and I've really enjoyed that. It's changed how I've looked at my own faith, which has been really neat, but also very challenging. Hopefully I will share more on that with you in future videos. I found a new favorite book, Phantom Tollbooth. We read this for one of our homeschool groups, and this I never read as a kid. I thought it looked kind of strange. We didn't do a lot of more fanciful. I did more historical fiction when I was a kid. This book, though, if you have not read Phantom Tollbooth, it will change you at any age, because it talks a lot about how we entertain ourselves. It talks about how we use language, how we use numbers, how we interact with people who think differently than us. There's so many lessons. I think I could read this every day of my life and have a completely different thing taken away from it. So Phantom Tollbooth was a great thing that happened this past year. I also listened to loads of podcasts and audiobooks because, again, can't really sit and read, which I prefer to do with a hard book. But Armchair Expert, and I also found Mama Bear Dares, as well as my old standby favorite of Sorta Awesome. So I did a lot of podcasts this past year. Another thing we did was we had my brother-in-law got married earlier this year, I guess last month, in California. So that was really fun. It was a big Indian wedding. So that we learned a lot from that, just trying to figure out some of those customs that we were unfamiliar with. We had a really good time, and yeah, it was a blessing to get to take part in that. So those are the big things that happened this year. I can't wait to share more with you coming up in future videos. So yeah, let me know what you did since I've been gone in the comments. I tried to stay on top of some of your videos, but again, I fell behind quite a bit because there was just a lot going on. So anyway, welcome back, and I look forward to seeing you in the future. Bye.